Who's ready to commit some watercolour sins with me today? Hello everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to another video, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jules and I am obsessed with all things artistic and colourful, and today we have a very fun experiment. So I don't know if you've been around in the watercolour world a while, you will definitely have heard people say that there is one thing that you should never do in watercolour. And that is mix with black paint. So today I was feeling mischievous, I was feeling rebellious, and I went to my art store and I bought some black watercolour. And I thought today we could experiment with doing some mixes with this and see whether it's true, see what we think, see if we agree. Maybe people are right, I don't have reason to doubt people's experience. A lot of people out there have been painting a lot longer than I am. But people say that when you mix with black watercolour, it creates a very flat, dull colour. But I think that this is a little bit contradictory with all the people out there who I see saying that they love muted colours, slightly dirty colours. So why don't we just give it a go? Because I don't see the same prejudice against black in other mediums. Ooh. Van Gogh changed their watercolour packaging. So this is a student grade paint from Royal Talens, but they're pretty good, just generally speaking. On the back of this package it says the pigment, so this is PBK 9 ivory black. It says it's transparent, which is very nice. And they just have like a little tab on the top that you can just peel off. Nice! So you can keep all of the information on the sides. I saw the Rosa Gallery were also doing that, so it's interesting to see. It's been a while since I bought one of these paints. It's been a while since I bought any paint, actually, because I had such an extravaganza in the last few months. But yeah, let's see how this goes. So today I want to mix with some of the colours from my signature palette, I guess, as a first test. Because I have my favourite colours here in this palette. I've talked about this so many times, and these are kind of my go-tos, the colours I have most experience with, and I know them very well. So I think it will be fun to use some of these to test with today. Another thing that I've been very curious about in terms of using black watercolour is that a lot of convenience mixes from various companies making watercolour, professional watercolour, use lamp black, ivory black, PBK 9 in convenience mixes for like indigo or other dark shades. So maybe we can see if we can recreate some of those today as well. That could be fun. So this ivory black, PBK 9, let's just see how it re-wets. Let's see what it's like to use, because I've not used this paint before. Brand new, just saw me unwrap it. Oh yeah. So it's on the warm side, a little bit of a brownish shade of black. I guess lamp black is more of a cool black, more of a blue toned black. Let's just put a little swatch up here so we can see what we're working with. I really like monochrome pieces, like black and white pieces, or just using a dark tone or whatever that gives you a nice tonal range. Payne's Grey is another colour that often includes this pigment, and everyone loves Payne's Grey. Every time I think about it, I think of more times that I see this used in paints that you can buy. But for some reason, we're not allowed to mix with it. Surely not. I think this will make really interesting mixes because it is quite transparent, actually, for such a deep colour. I think it will make quite interesting mixes with transparent colours. But I think, first of all, we should mix with buff titanium, which is a very well-loved mixing colour. I also want to do a video on mixing colours with buff titanium because it does make nice pastel shades, but it's a very creamy, opaque colour. Let's just do a little swatch here so we can see what it looks like by itself. And then let's do it. Let's dive right in. Let's mix it. See what we get. You have to let me know what your experiences with black watercolour have been, by the way, if you've heard the same prejudices as I have. I love these colours next to each other. They make quite a nice, modern sort of minimalist kind of palette. I can imagine people decorating their homes with these colours and describing it as Scandinavian. So when I mix the black with the buff titanium, I get a colour that is very similar, I would say, to the colour that I have from Roman Schmal called Aquarius Grey, which is buff titanium that's just a little bit less pure. So it's got a bit more of a grey tone to it. Let's see if we can get some separation going. That's a really nice colour. Very nice, flat, neutral shade. Would be good for illustrating like little bunny rabbit characters or something. What colour should we do next? So next up, let's go for a yellow. And shall we go for, let's go for the quinacridone gold, which is this colour here. So this is a mixture of two pigments, the one from Roman Schmal, it's still got the PO48, which has been discontinued, and the nickel azo yellow PY150. Looks incredibly bright on the palette right now. Absolutely stunning. Oh wait, shouldn't have washed my brush. Wanted to put a little bit of it by itself so we can see. It's really the perfect sort of orangey yellow colour. Very transparent, absolutely glowing. And time to dive in. Let's take a little bit of the black. Whoa. Make really inky drops in this. That's incredible. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's quite strong. That's made a weird sort of raw umber kind of colour. Like almost like an olivey green brown. Very interesting. Very deep. I wonder if we wash it out a little, will we still get that glowing nickel azo yellow coming through? Will it make it more vibrant? As this one above it dries, by the way, I'm really liking that nice grey colour. This has definitely got a green tone to it, this brown, which is very curious to me. So the ivory black is a non-granulating colour, but I can see a little bit of texture in this one as it's wet on the paper. Not to complain, but the weather is very changeable outside today. I'm dealing with all sorts of lighting changes, so I'll do my best to fix it up in the editing. And I think that in addition to this being this lovely sort of cool brown, maybe we should mix with some transparent orange and see if we can't get a nice warm brown. So this is the Schmincke transparent orange, transparent pyrrole orange, PO71. Another colour which is just amazingly bright, but in a very kind of, well, in a pretty natural kind of way, I'd say. It's not like fluorescent orange, it's just very, very strong. Let's see how it holds up. I think especially because the ivory black is a slightly warmer black, maybe we get some, we'll see how, if it mixes differently with the cool colours than it does with the warm colours. Yeah, so this is like a nice rich orangey brown. I think that the way that these mixes are drying is quite appealing, actually. Can see a little bit of tiny bit of granulation in the swatch that I did just of the black by itself at the beginning. I'll give you a close-up of that at the end, give you a close-up of everything at the end. But this is really, really nice. This is a nice break for me today. I have my head full of travel plans. On the day that you see this video, probably I'm going to be in France, and then the week after that I'm going to France for work, and then after that I'm going to Copenhagen for an actual holiday, which will be very nice indeed. So no complaints, it's just like a lot of travelling going on. So now we've had this, our cool brown and a warm brown, we could mix a red or a pink or a, how about we mix this permanent alizarin crimson here? This is PR 176, and it's a really, really nice sort of cherry red. There are so many colours on my wish list, guys. For someone who owns so much paint, I sure do want a lot of paint. Because this is like a really, really nice, but I'm still looking for my perfect like burgundy, rich wine red colour, and no, pyrrole maroon is not it. But who knows, maybe if I mix some black with my permanent alizarin crimson, maybe we'll get this wine red I've been looking for. I think it would be fun to get like some tubes of paint and do my own like mixes. Oh, this is a nice dusky rose. I know that Royal Talons, their Van Gogh and also their Rembrandt paint lines, they have like what they call dusk colours, which are where they mix some transparent pigments with PBK 11, which is Mars black, and that makes lovely granulating mixtures. A lot of people say that if they're going to use a black in their watercolour palette, they use Mars black, which I own in the form of Aquarius black by Szmal, which is really, really granulating. Absolutely beautiful, but sometimes I don't want to have so much separation. Sometimes you just want to make a nice muted colour. And this is a really, really nice sort of muted pink that we've mixed here with the permanent alizarin crimson and the black. But I am looking forward to seeing how that dries, because the other colours have actually dried a little bit brighter than they were when they're wet. So it gives me a little bit of a interest. Let's see how they turn out. Okay, so I think the colour I'm going to go for next might be a blue. How about we go for ultramarine and see if we get a nice granulation with it, because we haven't tried a granulating colour yet. So this is the Szmal French ultramarine, my favourite ultramarine of all time. I have a spare pan in case I run out. It's the only one I've hit this much of a pan on out of my entire collection. Which is funny really, because I don't think I paint with it that much. I think sometimes I just swatch it out to look at it, and it makes me happy. I think there are some people in my building getting a delivery or moving house or something, so I hope you guys can't hear that. But let's mix some black with this ultramarine, see if we can get like a nice, maybe an indigo. I've been experimenting with indigo mixes lately, a lot actually. It's been a bit of an obsession, so maybe that will be a video in the future. It's just one of my favorite colors right now, indigo. And this is really nice. This is a really nice indigo. Okay, let's give it a bit of water, because if the ultramarine is going to granulate, it needs a little bit of space. It's quite interesting actually, because the ivory black is coming out quite brown, and this lovely cloudy grey blue. Oh, I think I like this colour. I'm glad I did this experiment. And this little pan of black watercolour only cost me like €2.50. You know, it's very reasonably priced for the sake of just an exploration. I just took a quick break to clean my palette, and look at this lovely range of colours we have going here. Like, compared to the super bright saturated tones on the left, I think that they mute down and make really, really quite interesting colours. And this ultramarine is granulating, which will be absolutely lovely when it's fully dry, I'm sure. So next I thought we might mix with cobalt teal, which is this nice blue-green colour. It's the version of PG50 that I currently have on my palette. It's also a granulating colour, though not quite as much as the ultramarine. And it never comes across quite right on camera, but maybe with the black it will. It will be better. Let's just put a little square of it down here. It's definitely a little bit more on the green side, I think, than it comes across. Okay, so let's add a little bit of the mysterious black. Let's see if we can make like a nice deep turquoise. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is like almost like the Roman Szmal cobalt turquoise, but probably a little less granulating. Maybe we'll see. It's like a nice muted green blue. A little more on the green side, and I think that that's my choice of black pigment again. Who knew that there were so many? It would probably have such an effect, because I think it's made this mix a little bit warmer. So maybe I should do this experiment again, but with a cooler black, like a lamp black, and see where that gets us. I know that Holbein has a peach black, and I have the liquid charcoal by Schmincke, and they also have a peach stone black, which is very, very true black. But this is a really, really pretty color. I think I'm falling in love with black mixes, guys. Does this make me an outcast? And I think we can probably fit a couple more mixes down the side here, don't you? Okay. So bringing in a colour from outside my regular everyday palette, I wanted to try mixing with phthalo green, which is a colour which is not in my palette because I know it mixes lovely colours, but frankly, I haven't found that I would use it in enough regular contexts, so I just have some other convenience greens instead in my palette. And this cobalt turquoise is is separating a little bit on the palette and also granulating quite nicely on the paper, which is exciting. I bet they look even better on slightly fancier paper. This is my very functional Clairefontaine goldline aqua pad. But it's been really nice to keep my mixes on these just A5 sheets, and so I can refer back to them and keep them in a little binder. So time to see what happens. Maybe it will make like a nice sea witch moody green. Oh, it's so strong. I'm gonna need a bit more black. Okay. Oh wow, that's really dark now. So are we heading into territory of pyrrole green? Perhaps? Perhaps? We'll see when it dries. That's a really nice green. Wow. To think I've been limiting myself this whole time. I could have been exploring really interesting muted colours. Maybe this is how I get into muted colours, because I'm not really a muted colours person right now. But this is selling me. Just lift off a bit of this excess water. Still learning every time I paint with watercolour how to control how much water and paint you have on your brush, on your paper. And then we have a space for one final mix. Ooh, so we've done the buff titanium, we've done a yellow, we've done an orange, a red, a blue, two kind of green colours. So what's left? The answer is, of course, a violet. So I think I'm going to go for, shall I go for this manganese violet that I used before in my last video? So it's another one which is not in my regular palette, but does make some nice mixes. I included this in my summer limited palette video. My videos don't seem to have been getting pushed to so many people recently, which is a shame. Not that I'm making videos for fame or fortune or whatever, but just the algorithm, you know, it's a bit fickle. So if you are enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and maybe we'll finally leave a comment, tell me what you think. If there's any content you'd like to see from me, I'm happy to provide. Just let me know. So I'll just put like a little square of manganese violet here. It's another very granulating colour. So maybe it will be interesting to see how it mixes with the black. Whether we see it coming through in the final mixture or not. Okay, here goes nothing. This Van Gogh paint, by the way, is very nice to use. Absolutely no complaints about this whatsoever. Ooh, interesting. This is like a violet grey, like the Luminance violet grey pencils. This sort of dusty, muted purple. I love that. Wow, that's really nice. Oh, I feel inspired to do a painting with these now. I wonder if I've got time. I'm sort of having to pack in quite a lot into this final week before I leave. I feel like it would be nice to do like a moody bird study in these colours. If I have time, maybe I'll do a little speed paint. You know what? No, I'll do a speed paint because I really enjoyed painting those lemons from my last video, and I think it'd be nice to do some more painting before I have to go away from my paints for 2 weeks. Okay, well, let's zoom out and see what colours we have. Okay, so here are our final mixes. They're pretty much dry, apart from the manganese violet, which is still a little damp. So you can see a little bit of granulation on the plain ivory black, but nothing too extreme, which I think is part of what contributes to how it mixes. And then we have this lovely, very pale, soft grey with the buff titanium, and sort of this nice raw umber green shade with the quinacridone gold, and a warm brown with the transparent orange, and the dusky sort of vintage pink colour with the alizarin crimson. 2 granulating blue mixes with the ultramarine and the cobalt turquoise. I think that mixing with a transparent blue would make a really, really nice indigo with this black, so I'll be experimenting with that one for sure. And then mixing with the phthalo green, it went on a little bit more like perylene green, but now it's dried. It's looking more like a deep sage, which I am absolutely in love with. And then finally, the manganese violet is granulating out of this mixture, and it makes the most amazing texture. I really am enjoying how that mixture turned out. In fact, this might be one of my favourites. This is my biggest surprise of the whole day. So yeah, some really nice surprises today, as is so often the case when mixing colours that are with unpredictable results. So now let's paint something. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the mixing session and maybe got a little bit of inspiration for things to try out with the paints that you already own. And hope you enjoyed the little painting that I did. And please do leave a like, leave a comment, share this video with a friend. Let's get this community growing and share the love of colour with as many people as possible. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.